Welcome to Living Chassidus. Together, let's live the Chassidus we learn.
Morning, everybody, and welcome to Chassidus in the Morning. 15 minutes to change our lives. Aleph, Shiur Vayeishev. We started yesterday the next part of the Sichel. So we're discussing Yosef. Now, Yosef, when he was born, what does Hashem say? What do they call him? They call him Yosef Li Ben Acher. That's how it explains that Yosef's job was to take from the Acher and make him to a Ben, to transform the world around us. And like we see, Yosef was very successful. Wasn't necessarily so easy, but he was very successful. And the lesson for us is also to be that transformative person. But we can't, as Rebbe says, on one hand, we can't wait till we're ready. We say, first I need to know, I need to be a big learner, I need to work myself. On one hand, no, we can't wait till you're ready. But on the other hand, you do need to work on yourself, because you can't have an ashpah on someone if you're not taking care of yourself. So it's saying you take care of yourself so you can help the other. That's what we're saying. And also, like it said, that he was very beautiful. It means beautiful in Torah mitzvahs. It doesn't mean it's beautiful. Also means Bagasha is beautiful, but it means on a deeper level that it's about beautiful with his Torah mitzvahs. Zayin. So then there's the whole story of the wife of potifar. Potifar had a wife, and his wife, the whole story of him and Yosef, her and Yosef, she tried to convince, she really wanted to be with him. Ultimately, he ran away, got put into prison again. But in the end of the whole story, I don't know, people recognize that he does get married to her daughter. So it's the first at the end of it, he marries a daughter. So let's understand this whole story. Okay. Razal Misapim Lanu, so Rashi explains, She'eshes Potifar, Hashem Shemaim Niskabna. Potifar, his wife, she had good intentions. Funnily enough. Here, she saw in astrology that from Yosef that she's going to have kids from Yosef. But she made a mistake that it wasn't from her, but it was from her daughter. So on a deeper sense, Potifar, when you read the pshat of the story, it seems like she's a bad lady and whatever, she has bad intentions. But in a deeper sense, actually she had very good intentions. But she's just a little off. Yesh lehi vakeach mikan she'as liyois davash b'chitzein yes u'b'poil hu hevech gamush ha'kedusha ach b'pnimi yusay. It's a very beautiful part. They were saying that what do we learn from this? What do we see from this? And sometimes something happened to you is coming out negative, but in its source, up above, it's kedusha. Everything is essentially like this. But what he's saying, he's saying that we see in the story very clearly that she had good intentions, even though what comes out is very bad for Yosef, well, at the time at least. And in life, sometimes at that time it comes out very bad. But B'pnimis is all very good. And it's a beautiful way of seeing things. Ad Marzakim Mazvi Tanya. So the Alter Rebbe explains in Tanya, in Geza Kedishim and Chav Hei, Ki B'shash Yehudi Eben Mispalo. But at the time when the Yid is davening, Uba B'shah, and the same time that he's davening, Ba Elav Goy U'Mabab Leisei, there's a guy that comes to disturb him from his davening. So what is it? What are we meant to do about that information? You're trying to daven and someone's disturbing you. Not only you shouldn't think about this disturbance. On the contrary, you have to add in your tefillah, in your kavanah. That when someone is coming to disturb you, you shouldn't say to yourself, "Oh, I'm not good. Oh, look at this. It's disturbing." Of course not. But you come, you say, it must be because I'm davening so well. So now I need to put in more effort into the davening. I need to push myself more and push. And that's what we're meant to be doing. So even though it starts off as a negative, but what's it meant to bring out? Something positive. Now, but the question is, building move on. If the purpose is that we should have more kavanah when we're davening, so why is it coming out in such a way? Meaning, you want me to daven my kavanah? Tell me daven my kavanah. Why have to bring someone to come and disturb me, to make me say 1 second, to catch it and say, hey, 1 second. To disturb me, I need to put more effort. It's a weird way of doing things. Why are we doing things this way? The answer is, that's like this. Like we said before about Yosef. In its source, everything is in holiness. So we understand we have to add in Kedusha. Mean like this, meaning Lamaila and Shemayim, in the higher worlds, in Atzilus, with everything connected to Hashem, over there is a good intent. We're gonna this person, he's ad kavanah. But as it's mishtalsha down through the worlds, it gets more magushim and more gashmi. And then it starts to go down and ultimately comes out in a negative in the guy wanting to disturb your davening. But our job is to recognize this and to say to ourselves, hey, this thing, and this thing that in this case the guy disturbing my davening, I have to say to myself, it's what would happen, meaning you'd come, someone like, why is this guy disturbing me? You know why it's disturbing me? Because Lamaila, they're trying to help me have more kavanah, and just coming down here in this negative way. But it's not really negative. In its source, it isn't. Because everything is good up there. And that's what we realize. And really, ultimately, we take everything in our lives. And why am I going through this struggle? Why do I have something so hard? We can say to ourselves like this. Lamaila, in its source, it's all good. And its source is trying to help us. Whatever, this struggle is getting us to push us in a certain direction that we realize. So why are we going to push this way? Because above, they want to help you. It just comes out in a rough way down here. We live in a rough world. Or maybe a better way of saying not rough, which we could also say it is, but it's lack of gilui lukus, lack of clarity. As the Maggid says, Shekol inyan shel redifas lavon acha Yaakov loy ba'ela mishum shahayat tzarich b'tesefes teisiteya. So it says the Maggid says something very interesting. He says the whole purpose of the Lavan complaining and running after and Yaakov and all the problems that come, the whole reason why it's there is to add letters in Torah. That's Lavan runs after Yaakov. The whole story, Lavan running after Yaakov, and he's complaining about the idols and things like this. That whole story, and the Maggid Mezritch says it's just to add oasis in Torah. So therefore, it's written in the Torah. Why? So we have another passion in Torah. It doesn't mean to say that it's superfluous, but he's saying this whole story, which is a rough story, it's coming from Lamaila for a good reason, and expressed it down here in this story in a negative way. But it's all coming from good. The Rebbe says it very clearly. This is the lesson for all of us in regards to the concealments and the struggles that come to us in regards to Hashem. The truth is, as it is in its source, not only is whatever that's in your way at the moment, it's not only is it not against Kedusha. It's not trying to get in the way of a Kedusha. It helps you with Kedusha. Being that it goes through this channel. What expresses itself is opposite of Kedusha. But where it is in its source, it's all kedusha, and this is sort of to look past the mirror, so to speak, and this is a beautiful lesson for all of us that all our life and all the struggles we have. One of Hashem, but I am tired of this and that, and all these. Oh, but really, it's things more from outside of us that come. Things come like whatever it is that we struggle with. We have to realize that in its source, it's on a much higher level, and it's coming from a good place. It just when it comes down, it expresses itself in the negative. But we should look past that screen, that concealment, and realize where in its source what it really is. And that's what he explains. You don't make the same mistake as in the case like the guy. Nothing bad is coming from above. No concealments exist. Everything coming to help Kedusha. Not only will it not affect and a decrease, it'll add in strength. Again, recognize, the Rebbe says this in clear words, recognizing the reality, the true reality of what the situation is, won't just weaken you or strengthen you. When you take a chlata on this and you say yourself, this is how it's going to be. And next to it, truth, everything now gets nullified. All these things in the way will be nullified. All the challenges and all the stumbling blocks. Because we know that in truth everything has a godly spark. Everything's there to help with kedusha. To mashpia hu gam al aguf u'maylim le'erev boy legalos as anisa shalom, and therefore also with the body, you realize this, and you come and you take the body. It doesn't get in the way of the kedusha, but you reveal the spark that's within it. Nirim gam kan even godly hakavana hemes lahavi to kedusha, and you recognize all these challenges you've been having in your life, and all these things that get in the way that you feel that are distracting you, taking you away. Like we said in the beginning of this week. And we said this in the last few sikhs, that we come and we want to be in seminary and then live the easy life. And you have to get married and you have kids and then you don't have time for anything. But what we're saying is when you look at the Pneumius, this is the Pneumius of Kedusha. It's not getting in the way of Kedusha. Not going to Shul and Shabbos and taking care of your kids. It's not taking you away from Kedusha. If anything, even though it looks like that and say, I'd be much more spiritual over there and why'd have all these minus v'kuvim, but really, in the deeper sense, this is coming from Kedusha for sure. And it's coming to help you with Kedusha. And therefore, when you recognize this, so you say, well, interesting. That's a cool bit of information. So how do I look past what I'm seeing here and see the emes? And you say, well, what is this doing? Like in the case of the guy disturbing the davening. So what I need to do, I need to work on my davening. So the conventional wisdom is saying, there's a problem here. But the Chassidic wisdom is saying, there's an opportunity to connect to a deeper level because that's why it's here. It's coming in Lamaila, in its source, they want to help me daven better. And they could come in, if sort of we were tapped into our source, you'd just be something like this help. You'd feel like, I need to daven better, I need to daven more. Let me push my davening. But as it comes down and it's mishtashel through all the world, and it comes down through all the world, say our world, it gets a little bit transformed and suddenly looks like a guy disturbing your davening. So if you realize that, so you understand, it's not about my davening is bad or there's a problem with my davening. It's trying to help me have a better davening. And that's with everything in life. That's just the example of davening. But anything that's coming, it's why is it so hard to do this? And why is it hard to go to bed on time? L'mayla in source, they want you to get good sleep so you can daven better. But it's and they're trying to push you to go to sleep. But as it expresses itself down here, it gets tangled up, and therefore you have that struggle. Just to finish it off. This is the deeper meaning. This is what we're saying in the beginning of this, that the potifar's wife had kavanah shem shamayim. Back to that original story. When it comes to concealments, there's two ways. To fight with it. So one way is to say, oh, there's a guy disturbing my davening, or there's an issue, or my roommates, or whatever it is, and my husband, or my kids, or the Shabbos, everything is getting in the way. I think they're disturbing from having, it'd be much better if I didn't have this. That's one attitude. And then you say, I'm going to fight this. I'm not going to let this happen. I'm going to, you fight the reality. That's one way. But the second way, is much nicer. That you recognize that this is going to help me with Kedusha. And when this is ingrained within us, it arouses and it reveals within us his galus. And what comes out is that thing that we see it in the beginning as a concealment. It actually helps us bring out the Kedusha even more. And this is a beautiful lesson in Zoom Shiur Vayeishev and the trials and tribulations of life. That one way to look at it is like, why? This is so hard. Huh? The other way to look at it is the nicer way, as the Rebbe says, is realize that the pneumius, in essence, this is a good thing. It's coming from a good place. Everything from the mile is good. And it's coming to help me. When we see that, I say, well, how does this help me? Let me see. What do you do? Now, I think the more we're in touch with this, the easier it will be. Meaning, even if it's a hard thing, if it's a hard thing, but you realize this is good, like in the simple case of the davening, someone's disturbing you. It's like, so hard, But so you say, but it really comes good. So it's not so easy. But as you work on this and as you realize this, you realize this is great, this is good, and you'll click into that mode of like, this is good, I can do this, and this is just gonna help me. And cool, let me daven better. And that thing, as Rahel just finished it off, as Rahel said in the Faringen, he said, Chassid. How can you tell someone's a chassid? Someone asked, Rahel, do you need, like, what happens to a person that he's very big and Shem mitzvahs? He keeps mitzvahs, behider, he learns, he does everything good. Does he need to learn chassidus? So he said, listen, you don't know what's going on in everyone's life. He goes, but it's very unlikely that person can be on that level. Be'emes, truly, if he doesn't learn chassidus. And he says, one way you can see it is getting angry. He goes, you come annoy him a little bit, see what happens. A chassid, he goes, a chassid, like a real, and he was talking about a chassid, like a person in Madrid, he doesn't get angry. You can annoy him, say, you're a somebody, you're a nobody, and whatever, you curse him out, he doesn't care. And this is with us. When we learn this sikh, and we understand this sikh, when we internalize this sikh, we understand this message, and we look past the gashmi, and we realize what's going on. This is not getting away. This doesn't bother me. This is Lamaila, it's all good. Well, I'm not worried. And the mitzvah Hashem, all of us should have this. And so it should help us with connecting to Hashem and serving Hashem. B'menuchas hanefesh, b'menuchas haguf. We should have all good, have an amazing Shabbos.